talking to him now. See what you're doing? Girls do that. Let me say this. You acting like a girl.
You move like an old auntie. You an old Harlem auntie.
I could punch you right in your face. Your version of respectful is different than mine. We were on the street right now and you were talking like that, I would have you up. But I'm not going to do that.
For years, Charlamagne Tha God called himself the voice of Black America, exposing others while keeping his own secrets hidden. But when Dame Dash, the man who helped build Jay-Z's empire, pulled up to the Breakfast Club in September 2025, everything flipped. Dame came with receipts. The critic became the criticized. The judge became the judged. Once a hip-hop mogul worth millions, Dame was now bankrupt, just $4,350 to his name and $25 million in debt. And when pride disappears, people start doing whatever it takes to get it back.
Back in 2015, he and Charlamagne had a heated clash.
Dame Dash said attorney Christopher Brown was tormenting him, hitting him with lawsuits and legal letters every time he tried to start something new. Between $19 million in unpaid taxes and $4.8 million in court judgments, Dame was getting crushed from every angle. But his 2025 Breakfast Club appearance wasn't just another interview. This was personal. Back in 2015, he clashed with Charlamagne over business philosophy, calling him a chatty patty, accusing him of caring more about gossip than growth. 8 years later, that tension never died. Dame came in promoting his new ventures, trying to rewrite the story around his bankruptcy. But when he claimed to be the chairman of Revolt TV, Charlamagne fired back. "You don't deserve to be chairman of Revolt." That's when everything shifted. Dame's voice, his posture, his pride. It stopped being about business and became a battle for respect, masculinity, and unfinished beef nearly a decade old.
You can't come on TV like this. This is wild. Who are you around? You talk about yes men. Nobody I went would allow me to do that. And if they did, they suckers.
Dame started flexing, talking about his houses, his views, his connections. Charlamagne and DJ Envy stayed cool, but everyone could see where this was going. What began as damage control quickly turned into a calculated attack. Dame wasn't just venting, he came prepared. He'd studied Charlamagne for years and knew exactly where to strike. And in hip-hop, there's one accusation that can destroy a man's image faster than anything else. Dame was about to use it, like a weapon.
I'm talking to him now. See what you're doing? Girls do that. Let me say this. You acting like a girl.
You move like an old auntie. You an old Harlem auntie.
I could punch you right in your face.
First, Dame went straight for the Wendy Williams connection. "Your OG is Wendy Williams," he said with a smirk. What sounded like a simple jab was really a setup. In Dame's world, real men don't learn the game from women, and he used that logic to question Charlamagne's masculinity. Then he brought up an old story, Charlamagne walking away from a fight years ago. To Dame, that was weakness. "I'd rather get my behind whipped than run," he said. In street culture, that's the ultimate test. Pride over peace, image over logic, but then it got personal. Dame started breaking down Charlamagne's entire persona. The way he interviews men, his comfort discussing personal topics, his on-air style. Piece by piece, he tried to twist Charlamagne's professionalism into proof that his masculinity was compromised.
I need a drop, son. I need a drop, baby. What's up? Come on. Let's get a drop.
Yeah. I'd rather get my ass whipped. Let me ask you a question, Dan. You ever ran from a fight?
Real men don't do that, Dame said, calling out Charlamagne's interview style. In Dame's world, gossip is feminine, entertainment talk is soft, and real men build empires, not discuss other people's business. For the first time, Charlamagne looked uncomfortable. This wasn't just a debate anymore. It was an attack on the very foundation of his career. And then, Dame dropped the nuclear option.
I don't think you lying. I just think you broke.
All right, cool. But I just think you're gay.
That's cool.
I know you're gay.
We gonna throw in some time.
That's not. Why is it? Oh, see that?
The studio went silent. DJ Envy froze. Even the producers behind the cameras stopped moving. Dame wasn't just questioning Charlamagne's masculinity. He was challenging his authenticity, his voice, and his right to represent black men in hip-hop culture. And the timing? Perfect. Dame waited until Charlamagne questioned his authority over the Revolt TV situation before striking back. This wasn't anger, it was strategy. A calculated character takedown. But he wasn't done yet. What came next had everyone talking. Dame went straight for the jugular, pointing out something almost no one noticed. Charlamagne's shirt. A Paper Planes logo. To most, it's just Jay-Z's fashion line through Emery Jones. But to Dame, that was proof, a symbol, a message, and the start of his most explosive theory yet.
I've never heard you say one thing bad about Jay-Z, not one.
He's not in the room. We shouldn't talk about it.
Don't tell me what to do.
You said you shouldn't talk about men
Now
when you're not in the room.
you're
The accusation hit hard because Dame laid out his entire theory right there on air. He claimed he'd been watching Charlamagne for years. Every Breakfast Club interview, every social media post, every podcast. And one thing stood out. While Charlamagne criticized everyone else, Jay-Z was always untouchable. Then Dame dropped his theory. Two possibilities, both explosive. Either Charlamagne was personally infatuated with Jay-Z, or Jay-Z was paying him for protection. No matter which way you looked at it, Charlamagne came out looking compromised.
Sounds like you've been paid to do what you're doing. You should be objective on the radio.
Dame took it even further, claiming Charlamagne's attacks were really coming from Jay-Z, revenge for their old Rockefeller fallout. This wasn't about sexuality anymore, it was about loyalty and integrity. According to Dame, everything Charlamagne did, every comment, every headline, was influenced by his connection to Jay-Z, whether emotional or financial. It was the perfect theory. It explained why Dame never got fair coverage, why his ventures faced constant doubt, and why Charlamagne seemed so invested in tearing him down. Charlamagne looked stunned, trying to process it all in real time. How do you even respond when someone accuses you of being either in love with Jay-Z or on his payroll? Both accusations hit the same, designed to destroy credibility without needing proof. Dame had just framed Charlamagne as Jay-Z's secret weapon, using the Breakfast Club to wage a quiet war against him under the mask of journalism. But that was only the setup. Because what Dame revealed next, about Charlamagne's old connection with Wendy Williams, was where things got truly messy.
He also asked for
poor timing.
He also asked for peace. You know what I'm saying?
He wants a little bit of privacy.
Him and his family. So
during
him,
this time.
Sharina, and the baby need peace as they heal.
Dame had done his homework. He knew Charlamagne's fallout with Wendy Williams wasn't about work. It was about betrayal, loyalty, and messy secrets. Here's the real story. Charlamagne once admitted on his own podcast. Years ago, he introduced his friend Sharina Hudson to Wendy's husband, Kevin Hunter. What started as a friendly connection turned into chaos. During a company trip to Jamaica, Kevin flew out Sharina, his secret mistress, while Wendy was there too. Things got messy fast. Sharina showed interest in one of Charlamagne's friends, and Kevin completely lost it. Imagine that, a married man furious that his side piece was talking to someone else. Instead of owning his mess, Kevin cut off Charlamagne completely, ending a friendship and working relationship that lasted years. The worst part? Wendy never knew the truth. Kevin lied to her, twisting the story until she turned her back on Charlamagne too. And that was the pattern Dame wanted to expose. Charlamagne constantly getting dragged into other people's drama, punished for loyalty, and blamed for scandals he didn't create.
Yep. I think so too, right?
I can't believe it took you this long.
Listen, I'm a very patient individual. You know me. I just like to make sure all my ducks are in a row.
Dame knew this history, and he used it to paint Charlamagne as a man with poor judgment in personal relationships. If Charlamagne could get dragged into Kevin Hunter's marriage drama, Dame argued, how could anyone trust him to keep boundaries with other powerful men in the industry? Your OG is Wendy Williams, Dame repeated with that same smirk, not as a compliment, but as a dig. He wasn't talking about mentorship. He was questioning Charlamagne's character, suggesting his need to involve himself in messy situations ran deeper than just media curiosity, and Dame wasn't done. The darkest allegations were still to come.
Phone rings again. It was Charlamagne. Charlamagne wanted to take me for dinner. So he says the night, and he says the time, and I said, I can't go. I'm going out with Boof for dinner. Hold on. So Charlamagne says, well, I know Boof. Why don't we both take you out?
Now we get to why Dame felt so confident going after Charlamagne's character. There's a shadow from Charlamagne's past, a legal controversy that's followed him for over 2 decades, and Dame knew exactly how to use it. Back in 2001, when Charlamagne was 22, he was arrested over a serious incident involving a minor. He's always maintained his innocence, saying he cooperated fully, provided DNA, and that evidence cleared him. Still, he accepted a reduced charge, serving 3 years probation, a decision that left behind years of speculation. Critics questioned why he'd take a plea if he was innocent, while supporters said the deal was simply a legal strategy. The uncertainty never went away. Years later, the case resurfaced publicly, drawing media attention and reigniting debates about what really happened. Even though the civil suit filed years later was dismissed, the damage to his image was done. The cloud never completely lifted. That's what made Dame's attack sting so much. He wasn't inventing anything. He was tapping into existing controversy, using public doubt as ammunition. And the final blow? Dame reminded everyone that sometimes the most damaging evidence doesn't come from your enemies. It comes from your own words, spoken when you think no one's really listening.
have, politically incorrect views and potentially dangerous rhetoric. So when you're dealing with a person like me, it's always a chance that I can.
An old interview of Charlamagne suddenly resurfaced online, and it had the internet in chaos. In the clip, he was talking about an old conversation with his wife about their early relationship. What he said caught everyone off guard. It was meant to be reflective, but it came across as deeply uncomfortable. The moment went viral because Charlamagne didn't just keep that story private. He shared it publicly during an appearance on the Star Report, treating what many saw as a serious personal admission like casual conversation. It wasn't just the words, it was the tone, the laughter, the lack of awareness. And that's what had people talking.
If you lay down every night with a woman and you say this is your best friend, I'm the type person, man, I need all my energy clean.
The audio clip exploded across Twitter, and people were stunned that Charlamagne would share something so personal, and even laugh about it on air. Critics said it showed a lack of boundaries and judgment about what should stay private. For Dame, this was the perfect setup. He used it as proof of what he'd been saying all along, that Charlamagne talks too much, overshares, and lacks the restraint real men are supposed to have. In Dame's world, mature men handle their personal lives privately. They don't turn serious matters into content. And Charlamagne's history of oversharing only made Dame's arguments sound more believable. But then the tables turned. While Dame was busy tearing down Charlamagne's credibility, he made one fatal mistake, and it played out live. Remember when Dame proudly announced he was the chairman of Revolt TV? He said it with full confidence, like he ran the network. But social media wasn't buying it. As he spoke, Revolt's own executive, Lauren LaRosa, jumped on Twitter and shut it down instantly. Confirming that Dame was not the chairman of Revolt. In seconds, the narrative flipped. The man who came to expose someone else got fact-checked in real time, and his whole performance started to crumble.
I was told by a publicist that I spoke to who actually leads their comms over their communications, like, hey, can you please put on record that you spoke to me? I want to make sure that people know that Dame Dash is not the chairman of Revolt.
Instead of admitting he'd exaggerated, Dame got defensive, threatening legal action and calling everyone phony sources. But by then, it was too late. The damage was done. Everyone watching could see it. Dame was capping live on air soon after. He had to backtrack, explaining that his chairman title was just honorary and only lasted a month. In other words, a title with no real power. That moment changed everything. The man who came to expose Charlamagne ended up exposing himself. Charlamagne didn't even need to respond. The truth spoke louder than anything he could have said. In the end, Dame's desperation cost him his credibility. The street legend who once built empires became a reminder of how pride and pressure can make you self-destruct in front of the world. He came to question Charlamagne's masculinity, but ended up proving Charlamagne's point about ego and control. So what do you think? Was Dame's attack justified, or did he just expose his own downfall?